Hey y'all, this is Voluptuously Skinny, and I am here with my post-op week 18 update. And even before I get started on that, I just want to thank you guys so much for extending your thoughts and your prayers during the time that, my family and I were grieving from my grandfather's loss. It was so much appreciated. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. So, let's get to it. My high weight was 369.9. My surgery weight was 329.6. And my current weight is 270.6. That means I have gotten rid of another pound. And that since surgery is 59 pounds and in total is 99.3 pounds. So I am so excited about that. I'm so close to my goal of losing 100 pounds. I am only 7/10 of a pound away from that goal of 100 pounds being gone forever. As far as protein, it's increased just a little bit. It's 76 grams on average. Calories have increased as well to 711 calories. And I exercised again 7 days, y'all. So I am really working at my 30-day challenge. So I went to the nutritionist this week, and she said that from the last time that I had come to her to this time, I had lost a total of 18 pounds. The exciting thing is if you remember the last time I went, I think I had lost 16 pounds of muscle, which was horrible. And so this week alone, she asked, she said, "Can you tell your weight has slowed down?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Because I've only, I haven't lost too much weight. I've only lost the pound." She said, "Well, it's because you have gained 30 pounds of muscle." She said that 18 pounds consists of gaining 30 pounds of muscle and losing 12 pounds of fat. So I am totally satisfied with that. I told her that that I knew that I was not losing on as far as the scale was concerned, but I knew that I was losing inches because that particular day, in fact, I had on a size 18 pair of slacks. So I know I'm losing inches, so I'm not worried about the scale as much. Um, Still, I'm just excited about the whole process and excited to be back in the gym and working out. And my son is continuing to go with me. He's picking up a little bit of weight, but he's still down. I told him, I said, "Son, I'm right behind you as far as weight is concerned." And he's like, "Don't tell anybody that." So anyway, what else did the nutritionist say? She told me to get to my meal planning, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. It's probably a little extreme, but it's just something fun that I like to do, or it's fun to me anyway. So, but I'll show you how I'm going to do that as soon as I kind of get it all situated and settled. I've made me a little board, meal planning board, and for my meals as well as for my kids' meals, and I'm going to have them participate in meal planning as well. The other thing is my distribution of protein. I'm getting most of my protein during the day, and so she wants me to cut my nectar protein. I add the nectar to the water. She actually wants me to cut that, and then that way I can kind of drink some of that in the evening time or at lunchtime or right after lunch. That way I'm evenly distributing the amount of protein that I'm getting so that I can make sure that my body is absorbing all of the protein that I'm taking in. She also talked to me about carbs. I told her, I said, "Hey," I said, "I know I'm supposed to be getting 1,000 calories on the days that I'm working out, but I'm just still not getting it." And she asked me, "Well, are you hungry, after you work out?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm ready for the bed, really, after I work out, because some days I work out so late." But she told me to be conscious about trying to get in at least some carbs before I work out, and then some carbs after I work out, because they're essential to the repair of the muscle that's tearing as you work out. So she suggested that I really try to focus on the protein bars at that time because they have more carbs in it. So that's what I plan on doing. And then she also told me to monitor my blood pressure because she had asked me, how I was feeling when I worked out. Was there any lightheadedness? Was there anything that I needed to be concerned about or that she should be aware of. And I told her, yes, that there was a little bit of lightheadedness, but I had assumed it was my blood pressure medication. So, you guys, I have stopped taking my blood pressure medication altogether. And she said just to be very conscious. I was supposed to make an appointment with my primary care physician this week, and I forgot, but I'll get on that on this coming Monday. So, she told me to be diligent about keeping a good record of my blood pressure. So I'm taking my blood pressure in the morning and in the evening and recording that. It's been perfectly fine. She said what she was concerned about was that it would take me too long to get into my primary care physician just to get blood work done and get my blood pressure checked. And by then, she said, in another 2 to 4 weeks, you could have, lost another 10 pounds, which then by then, if you're taking blood pressure medication, your blood pressure will be low and you will possibly pass out in the fitness center. So she doesn't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen either. And so I just stopped taking it altogether. And my blood pressure has been great, like 110 over 70. One day it was like 85 over 56, and I said, okay, let me take a little time, then I'll take it again. And then I think it was like 106 over, I don't know, 70 or something like that, 69. I think there was only one other time where the bottom number was at like 82 or something like that. And after I got situated and settled, it evened out to it and it was back to normal. So that was that. And then she asked me about, she said that she felt like I was doing great and wanted to know if I wanted to come every 2 months instead of every once a month. And I told her, no, I want to keep it at every once a month, or keep it at once a month because of the fact that I'm still working on trying to even reach that 1,000-calorie limit. And with me working out, I want to make sure that I'm getting the nutrients that I need as my body begins to adjust. Takeout. So I went out to eat twice. Once because I was out, I think it was right after I had learned my grandfather had passed. Well, not right after, but maybe a couple days after. And I was just kind of riding around and I was trying to pick up some stuff at some different stores for my son's school supplies and things of that nature. And I was hungry. So I went over to Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A, I was thinking, they've got to have grilled chicken. I have never had it, but I'm sure they have it. So I ended up ordering a kid's meal, which was 4 grilled chicken chunks. I could get a waffle fries or fruit, and I chose fruit. And then I could get a drink, and I chose the milk. And so that was a great meal. The chicken was good too. But you guys, the chicken, I have really, let me straighten this camera out a little bit. I have really burned myself out, unfortunately, on chicken. And I no longer really like the texture. The texture is just, ugh. Because we have to chew the chicken so long or the meat so long to that applesauce consistency, the texture of chicken now has just, it repulses me. So I told her, I said, yeah, just even thinking about it, I don't too much care for it. It makes me sick. So she said, yeah, she said, you'll get back to that. You'll just have to keep trying it again or wait a little while to try it again and you'll be fine. So yeah, poor chicken. I liked my chicken, but I've eaten way too much of it. The second time that I went out was on Sunday with my boys, and I had a McAllister gift card that one of my church members had blessed me with, and we went out, and I think the McAllister's gift card was $20, and all three of us ate. I think it was like $20.70 or something like that. I ordered a kids meal, which they didn't give me any fuss about, and the kids meal, when you're order in it is 99 cents. Well, I ordered a garden salad, and I had them add turkey to it, and so the turkey was an extra 75 cents, so $1.75. I'm like, that is awesome. So they brought it to me, and I thought it was going to be in a small bowl, but it was actually a it was in a plate, and it was large. I actually ate it for 3 meals. I ate it on Sunday for my lunch or slash dinner, and then I ended up eating it on Monday for lunch and dinner, and that was it. When I ate it on Monday, I actually added an egg to it to add more protein to it, but it was really good, very good. So And that was my new food for the week too, was salad, because I hadn't had salad yet, and it was really good. I tolerated it well. I thought, oh Lord, these raw vegetables, I know I'm gonna be going. But actually I did it. So it was good and tolerated it fine. So those are two great kids meals. The one at Chick-fil-A, it was $4. And like I said, the one at McAllister's was $1.75. So I will insert some photos as well so that you guys can check those out. Now, as for challenges this week, one of the things I had somebody comment, and I don't think that I've answered the comment because I don't know if I could find it, but I'm going to go back and try to look for it. But somebody had commented about my skin. I have been breaking out really, really bad. And yeah, I usually have times of the month, you know, where I break out. But some of this has been exceptional and it's been lasting quite a bit longer. I mean, all through my chin is where I typically get it. And then you can see right here, I'll get it. So I I'm assuming it's hormonal changes. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm not necessarily detoxing. I'm getting in a decent amount of water. And the only time I typically get it is with hormonal changes. So whoever made the comment, this is the answer to your question. I don't know if your comment was erased or not though. So, but I wanted to make sure that you got that I was able to answer your question, but I think it's mostly hormonal. So, if they continue, we'll talk more about that later. I also have a challenge, support groups. You know, I've told you guys, make sure that you go to your support groups, because it's nice if you connected with somebody to be able to connect with them and to get help when you need to. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about the last support group that I went to was, is it really geared for post-operative patients, or is it more geared to pre-op patients? So I'm going to have to be more cognizant and selective of the support groups that I go to make sure that they're also meeting the needs of a post-op patient and not just pre-op. Because one of the post-op one of the support groups that I go to, they have so many pre-op patients there, and there's only maybe a couple of us who are post-op that really get to talk to each other or ask each other questions, or whatnot. And a lot of the information that is given, new information that is given, is geared to pre-op patients. So be mindful of that as far as support groups. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing about some of these support groups are some of the post-op patients or weight loss individuals, or I don't know what you call them, but some of the post-oppers, they sometimes give a perceived notion of perfection. We were talking about the liquid diet, and you know, a couple of the ladies were just saying, there were only like I think three of us that were post-op there, and they were saying how perfect they were. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe they were, you know. But I have read many, many comments, and um seen many videos where people have not been so perfect. I was not perfect. I had an episode with a grilled piece of chicken that was just, it took me down. It took me down. It had 1, 2, 3 punch, but it was so good. And I was starving. And so I just basically told them, no, I was not perfect. But the one thing that I can tell you is that I called my nutritionist that very next morning, and she was able to help me through it. And, you know, somebody made a comment about, you know, the nutritionist, and I should have called before I ate. And I said, well, I tell you what, if she had been available at 8 p.m. that evening, she would have been on the phone. I would have been on the phone with her, but she was not. And so first thing that morning when they opened, I was on the phone with her. I told her what happened, and she was able to walk me through it so that I could have some type of success, um, for the rest of the time that I was supposed to be on the post-op, or the liquid diet. So, anywho, just in the support groups, don't, because I don't want people to think that they are failures if they aren't getting everything right. You know, it's so important to let everybody know the good, bad, and the ugly, because there are going to be times we have an addiction to food. We have had issues with food. That is the reason we are turning to weight loss surgery. So there are going to be temptations, and there are going to be things that tempt us or prompt us to eat in a different way than what we were supposed to. So we just need to encourage people and let them know that it's okay that you slip, but you have to get back on. It's not okay to continue to slip. So anyway, that's the kind of a pet peeve I'm having with some support groups right now. But get your tails in support groups. Get your tails in something that's gonna support you and help you stay on the right track. So, y'all, okay. So my daddy passed in 2004, and he passed. I never really knew exactly why he passed. I knew that it was um, related to his weight, and I also knew that he had some kidney issues and that he had congestive heart failure. Um, but October 21st, 2004, my daddy passed out on the front lawn, and he went on to see Jesus. And I was just during that time, there was a lot of little turmoil and a lot of stuff going on, and I ended up acquiring quite a few documents that he had saved, because my daddy was meticulous in his record keeping. And there was one box that my sister cousin, she had in her possession for all of these years, since 2004. And I was just now able to get it back after we went to my grandfather's homegoing service. Just now able to get it and look through it. And I was very surprised to see that my daddy had submitted for the lap band surgery. Never knew it. Never knew it. I knew at one point we had talked about, a physician saying that he had opened my daddy up for an operation and had thought about stapling my dad's stomach, but did not, because of, fear of malpractice, fear of repercussions. What if something happened? But actually just wanted it to kind of do it to my dad, give that tool to my daddy as a favor. But my daddy, I found letters of recommendation. This one says, now, I'm 42, and I just had my surgery in September. Well, my dad was 43 when he was looking at having this surgery. And, oh, gosh, it makes me sad thinking about it. But it says here, my daddy was 43-year-old black male, morbidly obese, tried various prescription diet aids, including Meridia, Poneman, Redux, Adipex. I didn't even realize that he had tried all of this stuff without significant weight reduction. My daddy weighed in excess of 500 pounds. Now, mind you, my daddy used to be in the military. He was in the Navy. He worked out. But years prior to him gaining so much weight, he had broken his leg and actually walked home on it. Didn't realize how bad it was. When he woke up the next morning, he couldn't even get out of bed. And so during that time of recovery, it was broken in 3 different places. And during that time of recovery, he gained an excessive amount of weight. And then more weight from depression and more weight from just many, many things. Well, this letter goes on to say that they've spoken to my dad at length, and that he says, this physician, I truly anticipate with his current weight that his life expectancy is probably less than 10 to 15 years. My daddy lived 5 years after this letter was written. 5 years. Not even quite 5 years, because the letter was written on November 23rd, 1999, and he passed on October 21st, 2004. So this doctor was really right on point. He said less than 10 to 15 years, and it was 5 years after this letter was written. Shortly after that, it's almost like it was given no consideration. He has a letter here that says, Yes, that, he meets all the requirements of the gastric banding, based on the letters and the information that was given. However, the plan that my daddy was on, he worked for the city, excluded non-surgical methods of treating obesity or morbid obesity. So, well, excuse me. They excluded surgical methods of treating morbid obesity, and they only included non-surgical methods, which he had already tried, obviously. So, in January of 2000, my daddy appealed and wrote a very long letter. It's my daddy's handwriting. Very long letter asking and pleading for the surgery that he was unable to have. He even said at the very end, my daddy said, "I'm trying to do all I can to get this weight under control, and I admit with a degree of shame that I cannot do it by myself." That hurts. That hurts. But I'm telling you, it has definitely, and I'm only 4 months out, but I plan to keep this forever as a permanent reminder of what my daddy couldn't have, that now I've been blessed to have, and pray that it gives me a reminder of why I need to stay on track, of how fast my daddy's demise went, and how blessed I am to have it. So, I'm just thankful. It was so surprising to read all of this information. And I mean, it was stacks. This is only one folder full of his medical records and documentation. I just know my daddy is looking down on me, and he's probably rejoicing. Probably my daddy ain't thinking about me, y'all, because I know he's up there just scuttlebugging in heaven. But I know that he would be proud that I took this step and that I was able to take this step. And man, I just wish we could have done it together. But anywho, y'all, I am, like I said, I'm getting caught up. I'm getting back on track. I'm doing my thing. I'm getting myself together, praising God, and rejoicing in everything that's going on. This is been a trying start to a new year, but this is a good year nonetheless, and the devil is busy. So y'all be mindful of that. Keep praying. Keep your head up. Keep rising to your potential. Keep stirring up your gifts. I'm going to continue to pray for you. You continue to pray for me. Okay? Peace out, baby. Mwah.